So in our module 8, we're going to make some major changes to our game. So let's get at it. Let's start with our car. And I have changed my script. So let's take a look at it. So you can see I still have my variables. But I want my car to turn like a car. And so I've made some changes. Before it would go forward and then shift left or shift right. So I've made changes so it will now turn, and we'll take a look at it in a second. So I have my vector rotation right, rotation left. Of course, one's going 30 degrees to the right, the other going 30 degrees to the left every time I hit my keys, and then forward and backward is the same. So I'm using my WASD keys instead of the arrow keys in this particular one. So there's the rotation, and fixed update is called every frame as the game's played. So I changed that from just void update to void fixed update. And here is my W, S, W and S being forward and backward, and D and A. You can see they're pretty similar. What the W and S are is we're going forwards and backwards. So it's just a difference in forward and backwards. The D and A, because I'm rotating, I'm using quaternion and I'm using delta rotation. So now I'm rotating as I go right with D and left with A. So quaternion and Euler give us specific control over rotation. So I want to use that. And also I'm using my rigid body, which of course we have defined up here. So I'm getting that rigid body and rotating it. So all these mainly do is just give you a specific control, tight control over your vehicle or object as it starts to turn. And of course we have our time.delta time to adjust the frame rate depending on how fast or how slow a computer is. So the game will play the same no matter what kind of computer that you're using. So, and again, we're just using the rotation, the delta rotation right, and the delta and quaternion rotation left. So this just gives us a much greater control of our game. You could use arrow keys. You can input any key you want inside here, but WASD is pretty much the standard for game control. And you can see we're using an if statement. So if you push A, then this happens. So that'll be the change, at least for mine. Some of you already have it turning, so you don't need to change this part of your script at all. If it's turning, which we'll look at in a second, you don't need to do it. In fact, let's look at it now. So you can see it's turning the way a car would. So as you're moving, you can turn as the car would. So it gives you more specific control. That's what we want. We still have if button for our jump. So we're still using that part of our script. We have not changed the collision. So once we jump once, until we collide with another object, we're not going to be able to jump again. Let's take a look at that. So let's see if this is tagged as ground. Is not. Try it again. And let's make it so it doesn't jump so high. That's the beauty of using public variables, is that you can change them quickly and easily. So my ground, when I first tried it, my road was not tagged. So remember, when we create a script and you just saw it, we used ground. Then, I don't know why I have two of these. Then you have to assign it. So in our script, we're looking for ground. It doesn't have to be that road. It could be a ladder, it could be a ramp, etc. So, but whatever term you use is going to be what you're going to tag. And it will not jump until it hits that. Yeah, let's take a look at what else I did. So I went and got some collectibles. You can see free collectibles, or you could type in tokens. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you want to collect. So we're going to start collecting some objects in our game and probably put a score up there also. So I did these. You can get whatever you want. And I just opened them up in my Unity project. So when they came up, you're going to download, open in Unity, and then in your package manager, you're going to import them. So once they come in, you'll go to Window Package Manager, and you look at your project, and they'll be here, either in your project or your assets, and you'll then click and import all. Mine ended up being right here. Aryan Sky Gems. And I could pick anything. I just picked a couple, and I put some color on them. So my gameplays, I think I have 2 of them. And they're spinning. So pick any of the tokens or collectibles you want, or you can have more than one, and put them in your game. So when I play my game, even though this one's probably pretty close to my game, let's go back a little. I think I hit it, yeah. So for our script, what you're going to add for those collectibles is this. So we're going to tag it, and if we hit it, now you should remember on trigger enter, especially if you read the first part of our module description, that means we collide with an object, but we don't hit it. So as soon as we collide with its collider, we then trigger an action, whatever action we want to happen. When we don't collide with it, it's triggered. So you can see in this case, if I collide with an object that is labeled as pickup, I'm going to deactivate that object. So I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to, as soon as I touch its collider, I'm going to deactivate it. You could use the destroy script part if you want to take that instead, one we used before. I just decided to deactivate it on this one. And again, we are colliding with its collider. And you can see this collider is pretty big. So you could come down here and change the radius if you wanted to, make it a little bit smaller, make it a little bit bigger, etc. If you want. And notice the sphere collider. I think I put this on. So let me back up. I think I put the sphere collider on. Now you can see I'm changing the radius now. It's pretty big. So I shrunk it down a little bit. But you can put whatever you want in there. Don't get it too big because then you're going to destroy it before you get too close to it. And there's the is trigger. But if I uncheck that, let's go back. Back up some. Yeah, so I'm hitting it. So remember, once you do that on collision trigger, we got to have that entered. Okay, and let's look at another script we're going to put on. So for your, whatever you pick for your collectible or token, we're going to put a rotation script on it. Now, you should have been able to write this yourself from scratch. Instead of transform translate where we're moving it, we're going to transform rotate, and we're going to get its current vector and then give it a new vector setting, and we're going to have it spinning. It's going to be rotating. Now these values, you can put whatever you want in here, and I encourage you to experiment with them. I think originally I had like 30 and 45 and 30, but then a couple of my classes want me to change it. So whatever value you want inside here, and the script, of course, goes on your collectible here. So the rotate script here. Just drag it on, and your spheres will be rotating. Now let's take a look at these, because these are now prefabs. So you're going to come down here, and you're going to right-click and create a new folder and call it prefabs, which is mine right here. Prefabs folder. You're going to take the first token you drag up, and once you get the color on it, get the size. I think I resized mine. Get your script on it. Get it the way you like it. The color, the rotation, the size of it, the height you want of it to be up. Get it the way you like it first. And then once you like what you see, you're going to drag it down into your prefabs folder. It's going to turn blue. And once you've done that, when you want to create another one, you're just going to duplicate it. Now let's look at my game now. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, once you duplicate it, you got to drag it out. When you duplicate something, it puts it right inside the other one. But look what happens when I've duplicated that. It comes out just the same as the other one. You don't have to put a script on it. You don't have to do anything. It's going to come out exactly the same with everything, the color, the script, as you created on that first one. So it's essential you get the first one the way you like it. Spinning, colors, size, and at the height you want it, because then you're just going to duplicate it. Now the beauty of this, let's go back to my original. So if I want to make a change to my original one, I would come down here and click down here. And if I make one change, let's just make it 3, and then go back and play, you can see they're all 3. So whatever I change with one, all of them will change. So just think we have a bunch of spinning obstacles, etc., that we have in our game, and we all of a sudden say, no, we want them bigger, we want them spinning faster, we want to have a different color. Well, we can change all that with just one prefab, clicking here. Let me get out of the game. And make our changes, and then it'll affect all of them. Once you've clicked on this thing and got this window, then you just come back up here, here, and go back to regular window. Let me zoom out. Okay, so now this is also how you make like things you would shoot or throw, bullets, etc. We create a prefab, and then in our script we have them, and the bullets they just instantiate or create the bullets as they're going. But they're always the same. Now, the last thing I think I did, so we've got the prefabs, we've got them spinning, we've got the collectible script. Oh yeah, let's go back to that script. And remember, we tag these as pickup. We're using on trigger collider, so we're gonna on trigger ender, we're gonna make contact with the collider. In this case, we're going to deactivate the cube so it looks like it's been destroyed. But we will not deactivate anything unless it's tagged as pickup. So again, on your first prefab, this original prefab, make sure you tag it as pickup. So you're going to have to create a tag, the same as we did for our ground. Just click Add Tag, hit the plus button, and now let me come here. Oh, so I can't do it. Let me see if this one's being used. So it's been removed. Okay, so if I go back to my there's only one pickup. I created it twice for some reason. Okay, so we've got the car moving where we want to. We're collecting the collectibles, cubes where we want to. The last thing we're going to do, and it'll take a couple minutes to explain it, is so the game. Let me back up a little. So as we're going, you probably notice that your vehicle probably is just, when you get to this point here, and you start to turn, your vehicle is looking sideways. So when you start doing this, your camera is looking to the side of your vehicle. And so, of course, that's no good. And I just duplicated this road, right? So I went and created another road, and I just connected it to the current road. So here's my road 2. Yeah. Or you can create a bunch of them and turn them around. So we need to change that. So what I did is I went to my vehicle, and I went to my wheel. I think it's my back left. It could be your back right. It doesn't really matter which wheel you choose. But we're going to set our camera on the wheel and front part of this car so that when we turn, it turns. So you are going to, at the back wheel, you're going to create an empty. So you're going to go under this. You're going to create empty. Create empty. And make sure if it puts it somewhere else, you pull it under this one. And you're going to name it cam target. And we're using the scripting procedure of first word not being capitalized and the second one being capitalized, cam target. So at your left wheel, let's just click on it. And then at your front wheel, let's sort of wheel out a little bit. You're going to create another empty game object, and you're going to, again, right-click, create empty, and you're going to call it look target. Again, the same spelling, small l and capital T. And we're going to adjust these in a minute. But right now it can be right here and then up into the front. Okay, then in order to take advantage of these new settings, we're going to write a new script for our main camera. And so let me get to that one. Okay, so mine is car follows right. I don't care what you name your script, but make sure this name is also the same name that's in your game. Okay. And if someone ever gives you a script, if you want to try someone's script, you have to create this, and then you start pasting after this first curly bracket, or you're going to have all sorts of problems. So you create the top part, tell Unity what the collections you're using, put inside here. So again, we have some public variables we created, some transforms, and we're going to be using vector 3, and we're going to have a look at target. So the car is going to follow a target in front of us as we start to move. So I've given a couple names here. You don't have to follow my names as long as you use them in your game and are consistent with them. So I defined this is my distance position, which is behind my vehicle. And this is going to be my camera position that we're going to follow in front of us. So we're using a lerp, which we explained in the lesson. So interpolates between the front and the back. So our camera is going to follow that car as if we were right behind it. And when it turns, we turn. Sort of like we're sitting in it. So it's going to follow both of those targets we just set up. And it's going to use the position of the front of the car. That's going to be our position we start at. And it's going to look at that position and move. So this is the script. Save it. And because we're using those transforms, once you come to your camera and click, so you're going to drag, when you bring the script in here, you're going to take the camera target and drag it in there. And then you're going to take the look target and you're going to drag it in there. We're going to fill those two slots. And you can fool around with this a little bit if you want to. And then what I did is I started to adjust them. So I went here. And I think I went into the game view. Yeah, so let's switch our window and go to 2x3. And open this up. And let's sort of play our game. So you can see you can take your cam target and while you're playing the game, get it the way you like it, move it around a little bit, and then look at this setting and change it, or we can click on our look target also. And we can sort of move that the way we want to. So I don't think I like my cam target anymore. It's too far up. Maybe a little down. Yeah. And then my look target. That looks okay. So get it the way you like it, so that when your game starts, You are moving the way you want to move. So from within that game, what I would do, if you get it the way you like it here, is you come here and copy. So let's see, what is it, 6.3117? So let's get out of the game and see. No, it actually saved it. Okay, so you change the game, it saved it. And then when we play our game, once you start moving and turning, it's going to be as if you were sitting in the driver's seat. And I think I'm too far back now. So that would probably be my cam target. Yeah, that's too far forward. So again, no right or wrong. Yeah. So I'm at -8 now. Yeah, I can live with that. Okay. Anyway, so that's the script for our camera. And we're creating these public transform. So we're creating a target we have to fill, just like a game object, and a look target. So when we're creating these public transforms, I mean, when we get to our game, you're going to have to fill these. You're going to have to fill them. That's why we named them. Well, of course, you can name it anything you want to, as long as it's in your script named that way. Okay? So as long as it's in your script, whatever you put for your empty game object, as long as it can fill inside there. Okay, so a lot to do, but we're starting to get a game going now. So take your time. Remember to save a scene. So if I looked at your game, I should see a ton of scenes. I mean, a lot of them. Every time you do something, save a scene. So I would just go File, Save As. And I would say car turning correctly. Now, don't name your scenes like 1, 2, 3, 4. You have no idea what 4 or 5 is. What happened in 4 or 5. When you make a change, maybe put prefabs or something, more prefabs, or prefab spinning or something. You know, make sure you name that scene so you know that's what you did in that scene. So we're starting to get there. For some of you that didn't have your object bouncing, like mine here, remember you got to have gravity on it to have it bounce. And let me go back to my other view. And keep this clean. So notice this is all clean. So when we create a folder, when we create these prefabs, we create an empty game object, and then we drag the objects into this thing, and this is the parent, and this is the child, and we keep it really clean. So what did I have? Materials, this thing. So make sure, I think I had maximum before, but I just fooled around with it. I can tell you these two didn't work. It didn't really bounce at all, or it bounced weird. So make sure you have the jump where it should be, and like jump bounciness 1. I've made it the maximum. If this is 0, it's going to bounce, huh? And get these set. So it should be bouncing in your thing there. And of course, we destroy it. Anyway, take your time. See if you can get this done. Experiment with the script some. If you want to try your own script, put your own projects in, I encourage it. And let me know if you have any questions.